This is George Washington. This is George Washington House. George Washington House is here in Freda, Washington. Freda, Washington has the service George Washington, and also grandma and grandfather, real mother and real father is on the wall. So the 8131 Social Security office, also the Sunny Farms, Cimaron 5IC, Sunset Acres, and the Highway 2617. We're going to download all this information since John Deere Evergreen Implement has Sputniks, Lockwood's 9560s, RT Sputniks from Blackfoot, Idaho Systems, and General Electric generators, booms, little booms, harvesters, cargo carts. We got Lockwood's pulled by 95X60, the RT tanks. And there are the RX, the biggest tanks they got on the Farm of Life, has John Deere Evergreen emblems on them. We have a Sputnik harvesters. We have also the Milestones, and there's South Dakota equipment and also harvesters. Sputnik Lockwoods and harvesters, Lockwoods, harvesters, Milestones, and also the how would you say hydraulic lines that are on the tanks are high powered, and those tanks are pulling Lockwoods, Sputniks, and balers, HPs, and those are alfalfa for alfalfa baling tonnage, any tiny tonnage on acreage. Green Star, Firestar, Green Star, these are jet propulsion satellites that are propelled above the atmosphere and position their anchorage and harvest for the crop. 2019, 2018, and 19 we got snowed in. John Deere Evergreen Implements, Sunny Farms, Sunset Acres, agriculture plants. The farm bill has been paid in 18 years in advance. This is George Washington House. Increments they got on the George Washington House, they have the services they provide, which is all the data and information. That's Microsoft and Microsoft Firestar, Green Star, and also the auger, which you sit in the John Deere Evergreen Implement controls, all moderates the satellite system anchorage, footage, capacity, the BTU, the harvest, the bushel that's on Wall Street for those services for that feeds wheat, corn, edible corn, final corn, wheat, and does cotton as well, from cotton for your clothes, also the cotton for the Nike products you carry on your golf course vehicles, golf course purses, Gucci bags, and also the harvest they got for the alfalfa does feed the dairy, and also the Angus and bull that breed for Angus meat, black Angus meat, that provides services for the cattle, slicing the marinated, whatever marination, ribs, ribeye, stir fry, pork chops, marinating with bologna, beef, any kind of marinated beef from the lips, from the butts, and the tails of the cattle, and the stomach, the lining of the stomach, and becomes tripe, and that tripe goes to India, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, China, and the Seattle, downtown Jackson Street, where Chinatown, Japan, and Chinatown, where the virus affected China, and Tent City, and drug addicts, habitual drug addicts, convicted felons that get in positions and then go and getting jobs or rangers services or getting their chances. They're stuck out, they get renovated, processed, they get kicked out, and they're homeless. And the military staff members, military people that got AWOL or kicked out are homeless. And Tent City, these corpus of these virus expanding and going into the areas, gonorrhea, syphilis, gonorrhea, clap, syphilis, of course, syphilis, gonorrhea, clap, and carriers of AIDS carriers. They're dying off because they have no immune systems, and it fights our immune system, because this immune system, if you haven't ever been vaccinated on September, October, November, December, and January, February, March, these vaccinations were available before that breakout. It was available in September 2019. September, October, November, December, and if you didn't take those vaccinations and those services for people being exposed to those services, and then airborne services, and this black swine flu that traveled from California all the way to Chinatown, borders of Mexico, are in the waters. The sewer line splashes onto your butt, opening into your open pores, or for any of your open pores, and you didn't moderate any exclusive antibacterial service at that time, or you're not sanitized at all for the discrepancy, you will fall in those categories and discrepancies. We're going to take a walk through. This is George Washington House, which was repainted, spackled, and scraped and redone. George Washington House is covered with spray and scraped off the tardant, the chimney, and the chimney back of the chimney, and also the back entranceway where the surface of the paint and the paint job. The chimneys got repainted as well. And it's Adams County chimney, Adams County, which is Adams County, 210 West Robba, P.O. Box 187. Adams County, which is Oliver North family members on that branch of military for farming, excavating, processing information at that time duration. And spackling, as you can see, and the painting is redone. And the services here brings out the George Washington House. As you can see, the George Washington House brings out the side of the building, underneath the building. George Washington House, the outside of the painting. And the lawyer's office, which is my neighbor, Chad, and that's Tabler Wallace, retaining $10,000 from Ajmer Singh Nijjar. Got benefits, I got process, I'm not indigent, and I have money in my funds. I got Bank of America, US Bank, Chase Bank, and stubs and transactions, and I don't drink, and I don't do drugs and alcohol, and I definitely don't partake in the paint, as you see. And the interior ceiling didn't get touched, but the outside exterior got painted up. As you can see, the painting on that side of the building that brings it out. That painting on that side gave it out, pretty much outing of the painting got sprayed too. So. As you can see, these paint give it some more lighting, bring it out. But the interior painting of the service. Got an obstacle course here in Freda. As you can see, the obstacle course behind you, Freda Courthouse. And the training compounds they've joined through George Washington House, USS Washington, USS Abraham, USS Donald Trump, and Moo Trump, and Ganja Trump, and Avok Trump, and Baron, and also Eric, and also Tiffany. They're going to have some upgrade services, as you can see. service they're going to have in updating the George Washington House, implementing for the compound and the training facility behind the Frederick Courthouse. That's the mountain range, and also the fire department, which has implements updating these services. And I gotta see this download system, Microsoft. This is Windows 10, and pay this service one time and it's yours forever. There's one service you won't pay those services for Microsoft ever given. You pay for service Microsoft. You pay for that window, it's yours forever. Instead of being screwed over and litigated, put in turmoil, service. Trying to eliminate your discretionary service that you're obligated by. So George Washington, he's been in the service. George Washington, he's been the, I'd just say, tortured in many ways. He died a slow death in his bed. His dying words, his dying terminal bed, and it's like being born again, pulling the cancerous spackle off the paint to alleviate any more damages done to George Washington himself, which is, of course, he's born again. In many ways, this is considered to be a privilege to bring George Washington back to his feet. Even Obama, President Obama, put us through anguish and pain for 13, 14 years, going on 14 years. And seeing trying Mr. Donald Trump being vaccinated September, October, November, December, Mr. Donald Trump being carried out as a, not used as an example, but luring not to be blindsided by individuals like crooked officers, crooked police, crooked society of making things up and fabricating things to exaggerating. And Andy Miller's office is a place to be, because the most Washington State Bar Association, all judges, lawyers that go to the prosecutor's office and headquarters in Seattle, Tacoma, Spokane, and also University of Washington, which is in Pike's, Pike University Place, Pike University Places, Pike, and the services they provide. There's no escaping, avoiding the truth. And this is George Washington House, and it's a privilege. You know what I'm saying, to make history, but the thing is not tolerating the crooked society involving parties that lie to other people, which, as you see, to upgrade everything as we speak. See, Microsoft is a major component in society, and your Windows 10 is not capable of any of your upgrades or their systems, and then penetrating your domain, your firewall, your system, and your online system. As you can tell, your tie, your SUE, your fingerprint, your voice recognition, your systems can be pertained. Your false identity, your Social Security office, you're at the Social Security office 5 days a week, you're in the bank 6 days a week, and also you're in the judge's chamber or the judge's courtroom 5 days a week. But that virus, they're gonna have no courts, spirit courts for the 21st, 24th, 29th of April. So there's no way them manipulate the situation and any partake in the situation here in George Washington House. No way, no. It's pretty updated. Windows 10, Microsoft, and 365 Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics Business Services, and UBI number, your UBI number 602-720-979. That's Mr. Chabler Tallis, and he's right in our neighbor. He gets a $10,000 in his account to make sure all accounts are savers, faxes, commutes, services, appearances, and also a deliberation for generating PDF or downloading system of the computers, network systems, and also their Wi-Fi systems, and unlimited gig, unlimited data. Those services are going to be uplooking in many discrepancies, and of course, George Washington House entering Senator McCain's office. Senator McCain's office is always a privilege, especially when Senator McCain wants money. Ajmer Singh Nijjar wants $1 million. And also the Mr. Kandar, grandfather owner, Sean Long and Jim Logan wants money for the damage on their fire damage on the scorching of the house of 1003 East Hamlet. And also Jim Logan, Carper Carousel, the 65 on Broadway in Othello, Washington. And also Eric Olson on 610 First Street. And his property and his alignments and services, he wants a new truck. He's going to get a new truck. There's a Jolie pickup. There's, of course, a Ford 350 or Ford 250. And also the Dually pickup. And also the 2020 Ford Explorer. The family, the sunroof, and also without the sunroof, and also the package, turn package. And also the Raptor. And the Ford Mustang. And the services for the BMW from Honda. And also the other services they got for the brand new vehicle products, 220s, 2019 Sport. And also the Mercedes-Benz. The Mercedes-Benz is an economical, pretty much less expensive. And they're going for very, you see in Tri-City Mercedes in Clearwater are going for, on the showroom floor, very, very inexpensive right now. The fuel dispenser, the fuel lines on Stratford Road, and the fuel lines over in Queens Gates, Richland, Washington. The fuel's gone down, and there's a chance that the saving some money for the dispenser for commuting from Benton County, Ephrata Courthouse, Franklin County Courthouse, Benton County Courthouse, Ephrata Courthouse, George Washington House, And the GTA 5th Division, also their services they got. And going to Social Security office, making sure you go to the Mueller's Funeral Home and do your hours. And of course, the 8131 Social Security office does all the hours, and the field officers come in corporate because the services they got to be presentable and have your Class A uniform and of course your emblems, your Arizona emblems. And here in the United States of America, here in Washington State, J. Mueller Administration Office at 14 West South Union, Mid-Columbia Library at the Mid-Columbia Library on Union Street, and also Mid-Columbia Library on Main Street in Othello, Washington, also the Regional Central Library here in Ephrata and Moses Lake, Washington, has their hours increments downloaded. So you got to be 135 pounds, you got to be 130 pounds, cross-country running, Cadillac programs, run in the back of the Ephrata Courthouse, run into the Cadillac program, which is, as you can see, on that mountain range. There's a mountain range. There's a mountain range in the vicinity of background of the courthouse there. Background of the courthouse. A background of that courthouse, they have a mountain range. You can see after all those trees and debris. There's a cardiovascular program. You run, exercise, cross-country run for miles upon miles, all the way from Ephrata all the way to City Hall and Moses Lake at 411 South Mile, 411, 401, and all the way to 500 East Main Street, and all the way to Queensgate, Richland, Washington, 99352. Gold's Gym, and to swimming pool, outside, inside, outdoor, indoor pool. There's an outdoor pool in Richland, and there's a indoor pool, Gold's Gym, and also the backyard is a mountain range called Queen Great, and also here in Ephrata, Washington. So that cross-training activities and the Cadillac programs. For the training activities, of course, it's going to be very successful in many ways in the corporate of bringing everybody to a whole, providing services for Ephrata, Bend County, Richland, Pasco, and Columbia Center Mall. They're always wanting potatoes from Lamb Western Wash potatoes, Scone Connor, onions, organic compounds, and they get what they get. They get what they want to get. And promise their delivery by a train, shipment, 18-wheeler, and the services provide here in Washington State. Now these Nikes are made from the leather from the cattle, and that's from bulls and also the Angus. And the leather's pulled off the hide, put in the basement, Simon's Mall basement, and distribute Gucci bags, Nike products from Oregon. Oregon makes the Nikes, and they make their Nikes and they promote it, and put it in the golf course. The golf shoes and golf professional relics, as you say. The golf courses at Columbia Point, golf courses here in Warden, Washington, which is Grant County, and also Sage Hill, which is a winery for the grapes. And the grapes, they provide services for the wineries all through the Washington Northwest and California state. So when that flu exchange there, that flu vaccination was available in September, October, November, and December. January, February, March is the outbreak, and as you can see, the scale of upcoming dead bodies, and we're at Mueller's and Corner's office, and the governor's office, which is Mueller's administration. Mueller administration has been in practice since George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt, and also, of course, James Madison, J. Federalists, and so forth. Agencies, Oval House, Greenhouse, Pentagon, all malicious acts, malicious services, and enactments, and then also the presidential campaign here in Moses Lake, Washington. The international airport's right here, and that's VOC, Donald Trump, and also Mumu Ganja, and also Ganja Trump, and Mumu Trump, and Avok Trump, and Tiffany Barron, and also Donald Trump. So Donald Trump gets his we got a house, we got a residency, penthouse, we got Ajmer Singh Nijjar, Ajmer Singh, S-A-N-G, Nijjar, and that's Sunset Acres, Sunny Farms, and also homegrown watermelons in Sunny Farms, homegrown watermelons in Othello, homegrown corn grown in Franklin County, and also homegrown in Othello, which is killing corn. That's a prosecutor of Prosecuting Administration Office here in Franklin County, and Mr. Saint, and Sean Saint, and Sean Logan is the mayor of Othello, and Jim Logan is the carpet carousel, and he ran the insurance company, Safeco Insurance Company in Othello, in Studio 7 long time ago. Now it's called Basin Insurance Company, and moved to the corner, which is Cimaron 5IC, and Basin Pacific Insurance Company, 1344, and that's Sean Logan. And Sean Logan has his coordinator, which is Wade, and Wade is no more regional city manager no more. Now it's Sean Logan. Now he's doing the 4th of July events and also the fairgrounds and the upcoming events that they got going on, which is services. Mr. Senator McCain passed away, and also Barbara Bush and George Bush passed away. So Mr. Senator McCain and Megan, and that hit Megan pretty hard. Megan gets she gets a penthouse. There's Senator McCain and Roberta McCain, and Megan McCain got money from me, and Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, and also the Cheney family got money from me because they needed money, and also Mr. Megan, and also Mrs. McCain, Roberta McCain. Mr. McCain wanted money, and I wrote him out a check, and Mr. Andy Miller and Mr. Office got some money because I got him the check, wrote out money off to him, credit card swipe, and the post offices are paid for in full for a year, because you got to pay for your post offices and your business UBI number and all that political presidential campaign stuff, and it's a yearly annual fee. You got to show in person, and also going to do it online. Secretary of State can win that, which is across the street. You got to walk all the way to California, into California Senate office, all the way to Highlander, which is the Senate office in California, San Luis Obispo, the richest population area in the state of California, which is Los Angeles, and international Los Angeles, and that's LAX. LAX is San Diego, California, Arizona, New Mexico. Walking, training, talking, communicating, educating, and betterfying, purifying their individual, bringing the outcomes and the also the purifications of perfecting their math classes, speech classes, infant classes, aviation classes, cardiovascular program, running, exercising, baseball, football, softball, baseball, football, flag football, but all contact, and also the services they got with pulmonary arts, which is medicine, and that's University of Washington is medicine, and also University Law School, Washington, and also Gonzaga Law School, and have increments, payments, and receive, abstract, 1099 forms, and this is April's coming up, taxes coming up, so that'd be a very, very upcoming event for that matter. And the Basin Retirement Center, they have an application online by appointment for free. So those taxes you don't have to be charged for doing your taxes, so you have to do it by appointment. Now that's my neighbor, Mr. Wallace Tabler and Chad, and their administration offices, the lawyers on the wall there, on the stucco wall. That's here next door on 56. This is 42, across the street. So this administration office process is getting through this sickness, and the toll's got mass, and it'll get pretty much out of the way. See, September, October, November, December. See, Donald Trump, I got the dispensary of got a red line, He has a room there since I paid for those services, and I got room is paid for. That's Davenport Hotel Historic in Spokane, Washington, which is Simon's Mall right down the road. So it's almost 5 miles. You only can go 5 miles away from Davenport Hotel. See, I only got 5 miles to get away. I only got 5 miles. I gotta have a limousine escort service or transport, Department of Transportation, and I can't go very far in 5 mile distance at all. If you're reported out a 5 mile area in that description, the services of APR rate and also disclosure insurance policy, like a $1 million policy or a $5 million, $10 million policy. So you have a $10 million insurance policy for liability and coverage for people who don't have their license plate, or they don't have their driver's license, or they don't have their seatbelt on, and they're trying to do a lawsuit. They have a $10,000 limit on full coverage on business UBI numbers, door entryways, business offices, streets, across the street. Like I cross the street, and when I cross the street, I can cross the street. It's not a law across the street, so I have to sit here because I cross the street, and Eric D. Olson crossed the street to go to Eric D. Olson's office because I'm a working individual. I have my own business, and Eric D. Olson got a UBI number. Ajmer Singh has a UBI number, and also the insurance company got a UBI number. Jim Logan has a UBI number, and also Eric Olson gets a UBI number, partial property owner number, and Mr. and Mrs. Cox, and Mrs. Cox, and their plantations, and that's Idaho and Washington State, Laurel, Montana, Idaho, Lexington, Idaho, Wisconsin. All these restaurants and business, and also prevailing wages and service and contracts and service, all have to be. I gotta sit down because I can cross the street. There's no law crossing the street, and definitely Mr. Tabler Wallace and Tabler Law Firm here, knowing for a fact I'm serving the interest of paying all bills and inquiries and all utility PODs and also contracts, and abiding by UBI Statute Secretary of State Kim Wayman for each bank and every bank that I deposit my money and bank with, and provide services on this beautiful system we got, which is Verizon. And Verizon has contracts, 2-year contracts, to be expanded on G5. Now, I'm monitoring G5, substance and services and drug abuse I don't have. I have that blood service that pulled out of my blood system every month. For that fact, when you have nothing in your systems, no tolerance allowed, and low tolerance, no alcohol, no smoking, no drugging, no affiliating, and definitely not dealing with any kind of criminal activities or criminals, even individuals having a DWI, anybody with possession with open container, anybody with a possession or uncontrolled system or substances, or bagged, solvent and controlled buys and service, any of that description with possession of weapons or expandishing weapons, or involved in a homicide, or involved in a premeditated murder class, and whatever attributes and jury do that escalates to the final decision of premeditated murder, or murder 1, murder 2, or in the facts of discovering West Law and that discovery report of factuals of appealing that duration, feeling or conversating or dealing or in the same domain or vehicle with, or talking, communicating to any foreign relations, any communists or communist parties or fence lines. In the military, and you're 4,000 feet away from somebody trained to kill you, and they're in a, how would you say, Bay of Cuba, Guantanamo Bay prisons. You got 4,000 feet from a gentleman that's going to kill you. And you wake up, you sleep, you eat, conversate. And this is the population area. This is George Washington. This is the service they got here in Freedom, Washington. Now, Freedom, Washington has a major. there's people with downsides with difficulties communicating, talking, having normal conversation, or starting a fight for no reason. Their increments when they have their body system filled with alcohol and providing their services and providing these services. They run a business and they have open container, closed container, selling to minors, selling to individuals with drug activities, and these activities like the cartels, or they accept you because you have an oil company, because you have taxes, you pay your taxes, and you figure they take you in the service. And it doesn't work out like that at all. So that's probably with the thin line. You see that brick wall at Sunset Acres. That brick wall was promised to the community that they would go up to stop all that havoc and mishavoc. And as you can see, there's an outbreak. And that untold story where you have individuals, and it's pretty self-explanatory, and you're seeing that the death toll has gone higher. And I'm in the coroner's office in Washington State, and the coroner's office in Washington State, as you can see, the death toll has gone higher. Washington State University of Washington, Eastern University, Pullman College, and also the University in Richland, University here in Seattle, and also University, of course, the Pullman College, and also the Eastern University, Gonzaga University, and increments. We're signing contract with WorkSource, and the WorkSource has a blood. I give them my blood and everything, and we have partake or do alcohol and practice. Well, because I'm with Andy Miller, pretty much 5 days a week, and also at the Social 5 days a week, and at the bank 6 days a week, and then on that weekends, I'm at church on Sundays. Class A uniform and also suit and tie. And I donated my shoe, my combat, $500 combat shoe. It's a military discount is $500, but it's around $2,000 boots. But military discount is $500, but that boot's $1,000, $200,000. But the boot itself is worth $500 regardless where you take it, and it'll last you about 10, 20 years, just the boot itself before the sole falls off on it. And those combat boots are very, very useful in many ways, in many forms. Has electric conduit threading, to grounding, so you can climb electrical grunt tower poles. It has grounding electrical wiring. It's waterproof. You can be submerged with it, and it does not cause any jungle rot because it's a water barrier combat boot. So we have these services activated, and this is a G5. These services they provide are pretty much self-explanatory in many, many ways. Senator King wants money, Ajmer Singh wants $1 million, and also the Kandar wanted $80,000 for the 225 10th Avenue. So these services they provide, laying down their tile, doing the stucco, screwing, bolting, stapling, and also Mr. Jim Logan wants his house remodeled, redone with tieback, and positioning his roof, and also uploading and downloading and cutting his strips of wood, so specializing his house, because it is a specialized slope grade, so it has to be positioned and cut and put on one at a time, by strip by strip. It's very time consuming because you got to cut the wood before you even put it on the top of the tieback or over the tieback in that service. And those building inspections and their service of water lines and covering the water lines, giving water lines, pre-checking the propane canisters, the water heaters, and also the services he wants, some entertainment. So first things first is the house. First thing first and last would be the entertainment, because make sure everything works and before you even put the entertainment in. I'm sure you want the house to be nice before you even put entertainment in. So we're going to have that increment of the service of the emblem put on the Microsoft, which is Windows 10. Pay for that service one time, and it's paid for in full. And those increments that they got provide services are updated. And your Microsoft does the taxes itself pretty much, because it's Microsoft. You pay that service one time, and you shouldn't pay for anything, because the Microsoft, your Microsoft Windows, your laptop, your error 1, error 2, 7, your 8, your 9, 10, and your notepad, error 1, error 2, and your error 3, of course, and also your generation 11 and generation 10 Surface, Microsoft. It does it all by itself. It does its taxes all by itself. So that blindsiding where they're trying to, you got the right to print money in casinos and you got UBI number, and they blindside Mr. Donald Trump in many amazing factors because we got a room, I got him a room. It's his room, and it has my name on it, and it's his room, so there's no escaping that because I didn't file bankruptcy, I never will file bankruptcy, and never will be in that predicament of asking for a handout or being accepting some kind of specialized fucking sellout position of being this or being that because of this or because of that, some intimidation or error of being singled out or processed or put on, because I'm never in that predicament ever, and never will be, because got money, got fines, I'm definitely not indigent, and I always pay for my services regardless one way or another, and also get and some. And that's, of course, all the services you can provide here at George Washington House.